All right, we are back on the black carpet again with another special guest right here on the black carpet. Albie, how you feeling, girl? Representing Mike.
Great. I feel good,
Feeling good? Feeling good? How's the city treating you right now?
It's doing all right.
Any dates?
I mean, everything opened up now, so whoop whoop.
So daytime now.
Sure.
You going out on them dates? I know.
Nah, I'm taking.
Oh, you staying it low? Oh, you keeping it low key? Okay, oh my bad. Okay, that's how it goes. Somebody. But we're bringing in our special guest today, Mr. Amin Elhassan. I hope I said that right.
Elhassan.
Close enough. There you go.
Close enough. Elhassan. How you say it, Albie?
Elhassan.
Oh, there we go. I appreciate you correcting my grammar. Amin Elhassan, how you feel being on the black carpet, brother?
Oh man! First of all, I understand. I just followed up on the mayor of Miami, so that's a tough opening act right there. How do you follow that?
Yeah, you go from politics and substance to Amin.
Yeah, from substance to Amin. That's exactly how I call it.
Yeah, I didn't want to, I won't put you in a category, but I just want to let people know what we're doing around here for those that follow you and so on and so forth. But first of all, brother, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was rocking with you throughout this whole quarantine as you were on all the shows on ESPN, The Jump, all these shows, and you had the fro, you had the whole thing going, bro. And I didn't know what you were representing. I didn't know what movement you were a part of, but I was right there with you, bro.
It was me and Solomon Hill of the Miami Heat. Both of us, we were strong. We were brothers in arms. And the one thing I said from the very beginning is that there's only two reasons I'm gonna get a haircut. I said reason number one is they find a cure, right? A vaccine or something like that. You rub some tussin in it and it's gone. Then I go get a haircut. The other reason was if I ever have to get on a plane, because I know with my name and that look at the airport, that just wasn't going to be something that was going to be conducive to a good time. So I had to get on a plane. I had to go to New York City a couple of weeks ago. So I bit the bullet. I went in there scared as hell into the barber shop. They were making fun of me because I had my mask on for 90% of the cut. It is what it is.
I know it is a political time. You're dealing with the political movement in sports. I just thought you were there. I thought it was a silent protest or something, and I was right there with you, brother.
Yeah, protesting bad health. That's what I'm protesting. Protesting not being safe.
I like that.
Yo, so let's talk about this. So you're a great follow on Instagram and Twitter. And today you tweeted about watching Oscar Pistorius?
Yeah.
The document for ESPN Plus. Yeah. Tell me, you work for ESPN, right? So how do you not have access to ESPN Plus?
The best way I can describe this is about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Nike dropped the PJ Tucker special edition shoes on the sneakers app. And PJ Tucker himself couldn't get them on the sneakers app. That's exactly the situation I'm dealing with right here. That dude couldn't get his own shoes. I couldn't get ESPN Plus.
When I heard that, I thought, okay, ESPN is like all other platforms. There's levels and tiers to this stuff. And I thought Steve Lee and those guys, Chris Berman, you definitely got ESPN Plus a part of your package. And then it levels down to the gold package. And I was like, is the Amin package you work for ESPN, be happy?
Yeah. I mean, well, yes, but also they don't. I think what they did was, because obviously Disney Plus is another thing that we offered that I have it because I got it through Verizon, but I didn't get it through my job. And the whole thing was as a Disney employee, you get free Disney passes. I go to Disney World and bring whoever I want with me. And that's just how we rock like that, right? Or Disneyland or wherever. So when they introduced all these Plus channels, streaming channels, they said, all right, either you can have the Disneyland passes or you can have the free TV. And I was like, the TV costs, Disney Plus costs $10 a month, and to go to Disney World is $150. Even if I go once a year, that's still saving me more money than having free TV. So I picked the theme park, man.
But that's my question. Does Stephen A have to?
No, hey man, that's the choice. Now, Stephen A probably has somebody that he calls and says, "I'm going to Disneyland and I'm bringing 20 people with me," and so he gets the best of both worlds. I don't have someone I can call for that, so I got to do what I got to do.
Gotta get you a connect in Disney.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Sounded like Stephen A. right there. I heard it coming out. You sounded like Stephen.
I could do like 3 seconds of fake Stephen A. Smith before.
What we got? Do one. You got one?
Slava Medvedenko. You mean to tell me the Slava Medvedenko? Zaza Pachulia.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Names. I just can do names.
Who else?
LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Gabby.
Do Paul Pierce real quick.
You got Paul Pierce?
Do a Paul Pierce impression?
Yeah,
No, I can't do Paul. Paul's got that weird. I can't do the West Coast voice. It's a hard voice for me to do. He's got that I can't do it. Saying that I can't do Snoop. I can't do any of these West Coast voices. Yeah.
Poppy. I know you can do Poppy. I know you've been in Miami.
Oh, see.
That's it. That's all of your Spanish, right?
Oh, the choker. Oh, what's it? The choker. The running beard. Bobby got all these nicknames for people that no one's ever heard of, and they got to translate. No, the choker. He's talking about LeBron. It's like, oh, the running beard. He's talking about James Harden.
That's like the old school culture. I'm Caribbean, obviously they're Cuban, but whatever your nickname is, that's what your name is. Is that how it is growing up where you come from?
Yeah, so my family's from Sudan, and so we were actually talking about this the other day, me and my cousins, about how they'll give somebody a nickname based on one thing you wore one day. And then it might have been just the one day you wore it, but that's it. That's who you are forever. So my cousin said there's a girl from her neighborhood who had her hair done like the soccer player Didier Drogba.
Wow.
And so they one day, and they literally called her Drogba for the rest of the time. That's cold-blooded, but that's how it goes.
All right. November 28th. I don't know if anyone cares, but I just wanted to get your opinion because you kind of have off-the-wall opinions. Mike Tyson is fighting. He already started.
No, he's not.
It's not.
Hey, man, I don't think if that man has people who love him, there's no way they're going to let him fight Mike Tyson, man. There's no way. There's no way.
I didn't even get to say the opponent.
Doesn't matter. Does he have people who love him?
So Roy Jones Jr. is going to fight Mike Tyson on November 28th. I believe it's only like 7 rounds or something like that, so the guys don't kill themselves. Even if it
themselves.
Yeah, or kill him. You know, I'm not even sure if there's prize money involved. I just had this question that popped up. Would you do that? And how do you feel about that fight?
So I'm gonna tell you right now. I've been in a situation. I've met Mike Tyson, I think like 4 or 5 times in my life. Every time I met him, he never remembered me at all. And so every interaction was brand new. Though I'm gonna tell you the one that's relevant in this situation. This is a while ago. This is in Scottsdale where I live. And I'm in a bar, and it's pretty crowded. For the younger listeners, bars were these places that people used to go to drink and be a lot of them together, and we didn't fear any viruses or anything like that. We just did our thing. Those were the days. So anyway, I'm in this bar, and you know it's crowded. You know how it is. You're trying to squeeze by. You got a drink in your hands. Excuse me, pardon me. And as you're walking past the bar, there are always people who are trying to get to the bar, right? And so somebody kind of overzealously try to push through and knock somebody over that pushed into me, that made me bump into and spill a little bit on my drink on a dude, and the dude turns around and it's Mike Tyson. Okay. And literally this packed bar, there was everyone took like 100 steps back. It looked like you got served. Like it's just an open big ass circle and me and Mike Tyson. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, first of all, fuck all of you guys, right? Like, oh, I don't know why he bumped into you, Mike. There's a lot of room here. He could have just walked around, like, you bastards. So I'm looking, and he's got that tattoo on his eye, and it's because of the black light or whatever, it's glowing. And he doesn't look like, hey, accidents happen. He looks pissed. So I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me. He's short. He's like 5'8" or 5'9", but he's probably wider than I am tall. So I'm just, at this point, I'm going through my mental Rolodex, like, how am I going to get out of this? Because Lord knows, man, like, I ain't no punk, but I'll be a punk if Mike Tyson in a fight, man. Like, so I end up remembering, oh, he converted to Islam. So I said, Salam alaikum, brother.
Mm.
And so he reaches out, he grabs my hand, and he pulls me close, like sharply. Like my body got loose. Like I just flew through the air as he pulled me in, and he brought his mouth right next to my ear, and he said, alaikum salam, brother. And I was like, oh, thank God. But the problem was his mouth was so close, like my body, like, he about to bite you. Like,
I was just about to ask you that.
That's all I was like, his mouth was right here. And so, I said, oh, thank you. And I just scurried away and like took a deep breath outside on the patio. Nah, man. So you're asking me if I would get into a fight with Mike Tyson for charity, hell, even for money. The only way I could do it is if like he's in on it and I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna like hug you up right here. It's like to not give you enough and just give me like a subtle jab, like soft one, not a real one, right here. And then I'll double over and then I'll try and get up and then I'll fall again and then we get paid. But otherwise, nah, I'm not letting that man hit me.
All of this in the spirit of Muhammad Ali right behind you.
There you go.
Oh,
I know.
over here.
He's the greatest. I'm not. Just want to be clear.
Albie, what you got for Amin, man?
Oh, so I see that when COVID first started, you started producing your own little Amin Minutes. So I was wondering if you can give us a Amin Minute or half a minute or just a little rant, kind of like the one where you were in the backyard and you had all the weeds.
Yeah, we want one of those rants.
Give me a topic. Look, give me a topic, and let's see if I could go off the top of my head.
All right, let's go with Coach Kyrie.
Oh man, all I got is 60 seconds. All right, here's the deal. Here's the problem with this, right? I don't care if that's how you feel, right? How does that help? I always say this, like if you think about every one of us, we have goals. We have things that we want to achieve, right? There are things that we want to do. In the case of Kyrie Irving, I think we can agree. And if I'm wrong on this, then brother, you're doing the wrong job. But I believe Kyrie Irving wants to win a championship while being the best player he could possibly be, right? That's very inarguable. And if he wants to argue that, then like again, pick something else to do in your life because playing basketball in the NBA that's what you're supposed to be doing, right? If that's your goal, what part of saying we don't need no coaches, I'm the coach, he's the coach, what part of that helps? What part of that makes the job easier for your head coach coming in, Steve Nash? What part of that makes the job easier for your teammates, including Kevin Durant, who's sitting right there next to you? What part of that makes it easier on your general manager, on all the people who now have to answer these questions about Kyrie? And the thing that I don't like about it is afterwards, he turns around and he says, don't fall for the narratives and why must it always be this? I'm like, bro, you're not in your second year in the league where you're learning about, oh, this is how it is. This is ninth year. This is new to you. You didn't know when you say something that like out of the box, it's going to get attention. You know who you are and you know what you're doing. And by the way, you know where you said it. You didn't say it like in a car or at a bar somewhere and someone picked it up TMZ style. You said it on a podcast. The record light was on, the microphone was on you, and you said it. If you didn't know that this was the reaction that was going to happen, then brother, you might be dumber than I thought.
Sure. I hear that. So he can never be a commentator or an analyst, is what you're saying. Kyrie.
He'd be the best commentator or analyst because everything he says is so wild that it gets people's attention. And if that's what he wants to be, a commentator and analyst, he's doing a great job. Dude, I guarantee he's going to get multiple job offers. But if his goal is to win a championship and be the best player he can be, I don't see how look, he can feel however he wants to feel, but I don't see how saying it out loud on camera, on a microphone helps him in that.
True.
That is Amin Minute. 3. You know.
There you
go. When players retire and they go from a player to an analyst, do you think that's taking away from upcoming broadcasters who've been working like so hard to get a position with ESPN or TNT?
I would say no, because ideally there's room for both. You need their perspective. I think a basketball show that doesn't have NBA players on it isn't that good of a show, to be honest with you, because you got to have someone who's been through it. You know, I worked in the league for almost a decade. I have a million contacts. I've done this thing for real. I didn't go to journalism school. I don't know the first thing about. All I know is that pyramid, right? Like you give them the most important stuff at first. That's all I remember from one journalism class I took like as a freshman. But other than that, I don't know anything about journalism. But I know the NBA, and even I can't tell you what Kendrick Perkins has been through as a player, or what Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson have been through as guys who weren't drafted or were second-round picks and had to fight their way. Or what Tracy McGrady has been through as a guy who came straight out of high school and was a Hall of Famer. There's all types of different experiences, and they all help, and they all make everybody else smarter. So ideally, you have a little bit of everybody. Like you got to have people from the different backgrounds, but you also have to have people who are good at it. Now, if you're telling me someone's an NBA player and they're not good at it, and there are plenty I can think of who are not good at this, but they got a job anyway, that's different. But if you're good at it, I don't mind that spot being taken because you deserve it. At the same time, if I were in charge, I would always make sure I got some other people from other backgrounds, because no matter what, who's a great player that Scottie Pippen, right? 6-time champion and all that, Hall of Famer. No matter what Scottie tells you about a situation, he's still speaking from the perspective of as a player, from the player's culture, from a locker room perspective, etc. If we have Coach Fizz on, he's speaking from the perspective of as a coach or someone who's been in the coach's room and had to make these decisions on the sideline. If you bring someone like me, I'm telling you from a front office perspective, what it's like, what a decision-making, how we're supposed to communicate. And then if you bring someone like Ramona Shelburne or Jackie McMullen, they're giving you, as a reporter who's been around the game and talked to all sorts of people and agents and all that, and the inside information. And all of it makes the conversation smarter. It's not like you could to me, you can't have a cast of all players, just like you can't have a cast of all front office people, just like you can't have a cast of all reporters.
Now, you've been on the LeBatard show. That looks like a fun time. Just talk about that experience working with Dan, obviously Poppy, and that start. How does that go? And it just seems like you have a hell of a time. Just talk to us about that a little bit.
It's every bit as fun as it looks because they strive for that. Dan literally says if he's not having fun, then it's not worth doing the show. That's why that show exists. He doesn't want to do a serious show, or sometimes there'll be serious topics and they'll tackle it the way they will. But like Dan's thing is like, we're not going to sit here and overanalyze week 14 of the NFL season. And what does this mean, winners and losers? He doesn't want to do any of that. So he makes it easy. As far as me being on that show, it was kind of a crazy coincidence. I had never heard the show. I've heard of it. I knew it existed. I heard snippets here and there on the internet that I thought was funny, but I never heard the show because they didn't have it on our local affiliate here in Arizona. And so I think it was when Hassan Whiteside first kind of burst on the scene. They had me come on the show, and I'll never forget because I was driving from Bristol to Boston. I was going to a Celtics game, and
Boston.
yeah. Pump the brakes, yeah. But while I was driving, Dan says, "Oh, this guy, and he was playing in Lebanon, and now he's averaging a double-double. How is this possible?" And I said, "Well, because he's a jackass, or he was a jackass." And Dan's like, "What?" And so I told him the story about the dude pre-draft and kind of like how many bridges he burnt by just not being mature enough in those situations. And these are all well-known things. And so it was kind of at a point where he was on his last shot, and he gets to Miami, and obviously Miami's a very structured environment and no nonsense. And he rekindled his career. And so I thought I was just doing a regular radio hit because I've done a million of these all over the country. I hang up. I'm now gotten to Boston. I'm looking for parking near the Garden. And by the time I park, I look at my phone, and it's blown up all these text messages. And everyone's saying, "Yo, Dan is bigging you up on the radio right now." And so I guess the segment after I was done, the next segment, he literally just was like, "Where's this guy been?" And every analyst you guys bring me always just says, like real safe stuff, whatever. And this guy tells the truth and tells it how it is, da da da. And I need to hear more from this guy. And so, like a couple of, maybe like a month or so later. Yeah, it was about a month or so later. I remember Mike Ryan asked me, yo, you want to co-host with us? And now ESPN always has co-hosts in situations where like, hey, so-and-so's out, can you fill in? And you just go to your local studio and they dial in, and that's how we do it. And so I said, sure, yo, did you set it up with my local studio? And he's like, no. We want you to fly to Miami because Dan doesn't like that. Dan wants everybody in the room because he likes the energy and, he wants it to be fun. So I was like, okay. So I flew to Miami and, went down there to the Clevelander, and the rest is history.
So what are your best moments in the show?
Best moment. Define best moment. Like I had the most fun moment, or best moment that people remember and like.
Well, we know what people remember. Would you like to elaborate, or would you like?
No, I'm asking you. What was the question you asked?
We can do both.
Which one?
We can do both.
We could do both. Okay, so my best moment, I would say, or my most fun I had, was, it was actually it might have been that first time I was on. We were talking about something, and somewhere along the lines, the conversation veered into, there was an article I read about the most popular emojis in the world by country. And so they're like, in England, the most popular emoji is the poop emoji. In France, the most popular emoji is the heart eye emoji. And Argentina, it's this. In Brazil, it's this. And then it got to America, and it said, what's the most popular emoji in America? And it's the eggplant. And everybody in the studio, there was no cue. Nobody knew this was coming. This is the article I read, right? Everybody starts chanting USA, USA, USA. And then we just went to break. And if you've done radio at any other, a lot of other places, but especially, my experience, a lot of my experiences at ESPN, it's a very strict, regimented kind of way. Yeah. We're going to do this. And then this segment, we're going to talk about this. They map out everything. And it doesn't matter how good the conversation is. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. And to walk into that environment, pull something that was not in the script or whatever, and pull that out, and how everybody react and know the joke and know how to respond. That was such an energy-filling moment for me. I was like, oh, this is how radio can be. We can have fun. We don't have to follow along what boot camp said. So that was a dope time.
You could definitely see it. You could definitely see you guys in the energy, because you can't fake that, especially if you're in entertainment. There's a lot of things that you can see, like, yeah, this show's got 6 months. This show's got real talk. You can kind of see it by the energy of the people. Dan seems like he makes everyone comfortable, and of course, Stu Gotts. Yeah, so that's its own. That's its own.
So is the energy with radio different from television?
Yes, definitely. Because radio, you got room to breathe. Like radio segments are 10, 12 minutes long. The show is 2 to 3 hours long. So you can stay long on a topic. You can revisit a topic later. Actually, it's encouraged. They say the listeners from the first hour aren't the same as the listeners from the second hour. So we can revisit topics and re-talk about them and all that. And you can have fun with TV, because at best you're doing an hour. Most of the time it's 30 minutes. It has to be a lot stricter. The only TV show I've ever done that felt like radio, that was loose like radio, was Sports Nation. And a lot of that was, we had great producers who knew how to react on the fly with a lot of stuff. And then the other thing was, Michelle Beadle was she's the most talented television person I've ever worked with. So, you combine great talent with great producers, and you get to make a great free-flowing show like that.
All right. So first, it seems like you're having an amazing time on ESPN doing all the shows. The one time it did seem like you seemed like you were a bit off is when you had to host. Like when you were the main host and you had to like be the moderator. That seemed like it was a time, I believe, on The Jump. It was a time. Yeah. So I was like, Amin looks a bit off today, because you have to like now run the show. And I was like, I like that spot.
You know what? It's not that I don't like it. I never get like, hey, Amin, host a week. It's, hey, can you host today? I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. And that's the day. And then it might be months before I host again. Or they might call me next week and say, oh, Rachel had to fly to Minnesota to interview Jimmy Butler. I'm like, all right, I'll host. Like, you always say yes to the opportunity because the only way you get better is through the reps.
Right.
But I'm the type of guy, and you know, that's to my detriment, is I need like multiple reps. It's just like basketball. Like, if you say, I mean, we're giving you 7 minutes a night every night, I'll be good and I'll get better. But if you tell me DMP, 40 minutes, I'm not going to be, I don't feel comfortable in those situations. Even if you've done that to me several times, it's just, I got a lot of rust I got to work through.
I definitely